What's good, YouTube? If you're like me and your initial reaction to this movie was a mixed bag of emotions, don't worry, we're going to break it down. Let me first just take a moment to welcome everybody back to the Breakroom, or welcome to the Breakroom if this is your first time here, where it doesn't matter who you are or what reality you're from, we're here to deliver you a fourth wall break to help you escape your daily grind. Now with that being said, I need you to hit those likes, and I need you to subscribe so we can get this video in the recommended, and hopefully get this channel monetized. Today what I want to talk about is mostly that post-credit scene, but before we get into it, let's get into a little bit about what I liked and disliked about this movie. If you want to get a full immediate reaction for me, check out the video I posted up top that I did live the night of Venom's release and see how I felt then. I've had about 24 hours to milk on it now, and you know what? My thoughts are a little bit more concise. Let's go over the pros first. Action, awesome, right? We had some great fight scenes, and overall, nothing really disappointed me there, except some stuff we'll get into. The comedy aspect between Venom and Eddie was honestly just hilarious. Loving all the scenes between Venom beating up Eddie, cooking, Venom and glow sticks, it works. Finally, seeing Carnage live and on screen for the first time. And I'm not talking just Woody Harrelson, who put on an amazing performance as Carnage. Yeah, just seeing that character come to life was great. Carnage being Venom's offspring in this movie was also a great surprise, because when we watched the trailers, our initial thoughts were it was going to be something completely different, just judging by that bite of Eddie Brock's hand by Cletus Cassidy. Also, the reveal of Toxin at the end of this movie. Not so sure about how he's come to be, and I may even need to rewatch to get more into the weeds on that, but overall, I'm not mad about him being in this Sonyverse now. And of course, the end credit scene, but we're going to get into that in a moment. Now let's take a look at the cons. And honestly, you're going to notice a trend here. The first thing that rubbed me the wrong way was giving Carnage a love interest as his main motivation in this movie. Just doesn't fit who Carnage is. Carnage is about really just murdering and causing chaos. That's what that character is supposed to be. This is really supposed to be an R-rated type of movie. Carnage is that character in the comics that gives Peter Parker a lot of trouble in resisting the urge to kill. Creating that conflict between Carnage and Cletus the way they did, and even depicting them as an imperfect match, I mean, they came out and said it. That's the reason why Venom's able to actually beat Carnage, which is another mistake in this movie, because Carnage is so overpowered that he's not even supposed to be able to be beaten by Venom alone. It takes Venom and Spider-Man to beat Carnage in the comic books. Letting him do so in this movie, but not just beating him, letting Venom bite off Cletus Cassidy's head, and then eating Carnage, his offspring symbiote? Why? Why, Sony? Why are we killing off characters? Why are we killing off this good of a villain that we could have found a way to bring back in your movies? More on that to come. But anyway, what we all came here for, and what I'm sure you want me to talk about the most, is that end credit scene. Now let's take a look at it. I've got some actual footage here. I'm going to try to, make the tweaks I need to not to get a copyright claim or strike on this video, so bear with me. But some notables from this end credit scene. First, all the details of this, almost to a T, were leaked before we saw this, and they were spot on. Just what we had heard leading up to this was Venom's going to be in front of the TV, Venom, Eddie Brock, there's going to be some kind of static, shake, and then all of a sudden, he's going to see Peter Parker on TV. And that's what we got. Now, also, something of note, and was not in this end credit scene by accident, I can guarantee you, is Venom talking about his 80 billion years of hive mind memories. Just to put that into perspective, our universe in real life is predicted to be less than 14 billion years old. Just remember that. Venom and Eddie shifted into the MCU. That's a pretty big notable, I'd say. The point in time where they shifted into the MCU. I think there's been a little bit of confusion on this, maybe even debate by other content creators. But it looks to me, and you can see in this frame, and I'm not going to put the volume on here, but you can hear this isn't like the late breaking story. This sounds more like a follow-up by J. Jonah Jameson. Because you can see here, in the actual Spider-Man trailer, this is what's on the news when they break the story. I don't think that Venom's coming in at a different time than when Doctor Strange pulls in all the other villains, or at least when we think he's pulling in all the other villains. So let's keep that in mind. I think that can ruin some other people's theories. And at the least, it just shows you that I don't subscribe to him. Let's talk about the implications of some of those notables. When Venom is talking about that hive mind, he's talking about Venom's origin. So let's dive into that a little bit. The Venom symbiote was created by the Dark Elder God Null. This is on Gore the God Butcher's homeworld where this happens. Venom himself is believed to be the 998th generation of symbiotes born on the planet Clintar. Venom, the symbiote that Eddie Brock has bonded with, was actually an outcast of this species for refusing to obey Null, that god, and really just bent to his will. And these symbiotes actually prefer to dominate their hosts rather than protect them. And they didn't want to welcome Venom back in because of the fact that Venom has that tendency to protect rather than dominate. Over the years, millennia, whatever you want to call it, Venom has traveled to different places, had different hosts, but ultimately ends up in the comics being discovered by Spider-Man on Battle World in Secret Wars. Now, you might be asking yourself, why does all this matter? Well, that hive mind that Venom is linked to in the 80 billion years of memories doesn't just span the universe, that spans the multiverse almost 8 times over. That's because, like I said, our universe has only been around about 14 billion years. So this means that when Venom is licking the TV and says, that guy, he means I know that guy. Maybe not directly, but at least from the memory of that hive mind that he's linked to. He has an idea of who Spider-Man is. Maybe this is even a different iteration, but that almost in a way bypasses the story that we're used to of Venom sharing the symbiote with, or sharing a bond with Peter Parker before Eddie Brock. And this is why I say they brought up that hive mind for a reason. It was not inconsequential. Moving on from that, we know now that Venom is in the MCU. We also already knew that a fallen Doc Ock is in the MCU. A fallen or deceased Green Goblin is now in the MCU. A fallen or deceased Electro is now in the MCU. The Lizard and Sandman are also in the MCU. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, that makes 5. So what if, and bear with me here, what if now a fallen or once thought to be decapitated Carnage is now in the MCU and brought back as the 6th member of the Sinister Six they're trying to create? Work with me here, people. This end credit scene saved this whole movie. Either that, or Sony just got some good notes from Feige and was messing with us by killing off Cletus Cassidy. Either way, I'm hopeful because of this end credit scene, because I loved this movie up until maybe the last 10 to 15 minutes when their handling of the villain went south. And now I think we have the potential to get a Sinister Six with Cletus Cassidy with no corny love interest motive anymore. And he's just pissed. He's murderous. And he's got 5 friends. Oh, and by the way, we have now a Venom that they've been working this whole movie to establish as more of an anti-hero than villain, as part of the Lethal Protectors. How many times did they call back to that? who is more than likely gonna just come in and team up with Spider-Man to fight Carnage and some other villains. Maybe they clash, I hope so, that'd be more fun. But come on, if they've been concealing this from us this whole time, this just adds to how awesome Spider-Man No Way Home is potentially gonna be. And that, my friends, has been your fourth wall break.